The United Arab Emirates prepares to welcome the Prime Minister of India this week. This report from Nash Acobo.
Marhaba! Indian Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to visit the UAE on Saturday.
Modi is set to arrive in Abu Dhabi this weekend and holds talks with the UAE President, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Both leaders will find ways to further strengthen the India-UAE comprehensive strategic partnership. The meeting will also be an opportunity to explore partnerships in various domains, such as energy, education, healthcare, food security, financial technology, defense, and culture. As of 2023, the UAE has an estimated population of roughly 10.2 million. Of this number, about 2.8 million are Indians, who remain to be the largest group of expat population in the UAE.
Modi will be on an official two-day visit to France from Thursday before traveling to the UAE this weekend. تجربة مزمن تادتي أتغير من بايك أن جوثن كوبلز ماي نيوز at the Arab Emirates.
The president of Iran will pursue his scheduled trip to Africa after the diplomatic tour got delayed for a day. Melchizedek Cadiz gives us more.
Assalamualaikum. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi's upcoming trip to Africa has been delayed until Wednesday morning to allow for finalization of key memoranda of understanding that are vital for strengthening relations with African nations. The rare visit will include a diplomatic trip to Kenya, Uganda, and Zimbabwe, which is described by Iran as a continent of opportunities. The three-day trip marks the Islamic Republic's latest diplomatic effort to forge new alliances and ease international isolation. This will be the first time an Iranian president will visit Africa in 11 years. Raisi was supposed to hold a press conference with Kenyan President William Ruto on Tuesday morning before the trip got cancelled. The Ugandan official confirmed that Raisi's scheduled trip to the East African country will proceed as scheduled on Wednesday. Boosting economic and trade ties with the three African nations is high on the agenda. Iran has stepped up its diplomacy in recent months to reduce the impact of crippling sanctions reimposed by the United States in 2018. In March, Tehran agreed to restore ties with Riyadh in a deal brokered by China. This was followed by a trip to Latin America, which included a tour that included Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba in June before dropping off to Indonesia. The visit took place a week after Iran became an official and ninth member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or SCO, which includes Russia, China, and India. Barakallahu fikum jami'an. Kan hada Melchizedek Cadiz sa Akhbar SMNI, Kuwait.
Prime Minister Hun Sen reiterated his appeal against using forbidden weapons of war by urging NATO member states to oppose America's plan to provide cluster bombs to Ukraine. Sandy Abuela reports.
As the two-day North Atlantic Treaty Organization kicked off in Lithuania, Cambodia Prime Minister Hun Sen urged NATO and U.S. allies to dissuade U.S. in its plan to send cluster munitions to Ukraine. Prime Minister Hun Sen opposed America's plan to send deadly cluster bombs to Ukraine in the fight against Russia. Following the announcement of U.S. transfer of $800 million worth of cluster munitions to Ukraine, Hun Sen urged member states to oppose this plan. In a tweet, he said, quote, "On behalf of the head of the royal government of Cambodia, I would like to continue to call on NATO member states and some U.S. allies, including the United Kingdom, Spain, Germany, and Canada, all of which are signatories to the Convention of the Prohibition of the Cluster Munitions, to take responsibility and participate in preventing U.S. President Joe Biden and the President of Ukraine not to use this deadly weapon. I know for sure that Cambodia is small and weak, but out of compassion for the people of Ukraine, I call on the President of the United States, the donors, and the President of Ukraine, the recipient, to refrain from using cluster munitions in this war, because the real victims are the Ukrainian people." End of quote. The Cambodian Prime Minister said that the pain of the country in the 1970s, in which US dropped cluster bombs, is still felt after more than 50 years ago and completely not yet been eradicated. Meanwhile, Natalia Shinkina, the deputy head of mission and political counselor of the Embassy of Ukraine in Vietnam, said that the Ukraine understands the concerns of Prime Minister Hun Sen, but likely said that there are not so many options apart from using the cluster munitions. Shinkina said, and the need of these cluster bombs was seriously taken after weighing carefully and confirmed that the specified munition at this stage of repelling Russians meets the most urgent needs of Ukrainian forces. The US will send cluster munitions to Ukraine as part of a new military aid package. President Joe Biden in an interview said that they run out of ammo, that's why they have decided to provide such weapons. Meanwhile, the Cambodian Mine Action Center conducted a training on the use of lineman detection equipment for the State Emergency Service of Ukraine. The equipment used in the training was developed in Japan and is expected to improve through the use of radar that can determine the shapes of the mine even if it's still buried. This training was the result of the joint commitment between Prime Minister Hun Sen, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia, and Prime Minister Kishida Fumio of Japan in their bilateral meeting during the 2022 ASEAN summits and other related summits in Cambodia. Rika Prichinumpen Sandi Abuela, SM9 News, Cambodia.